terms of like this space of like considering friends with benefits, and now having this new understanding of what that could mean, or maybe how most people see it, because that's somebody that you feel safe with, you're familiar with, you like, you know what I mean, you know them. Is that a situation, if y'all had that conversation and agreed upon whatever the terms were, could you that be the person?
It depends on the day if you catch me at Tiffany or Sade.
That is us.
I promise.
That's some real stuff.
I gotta be real. I'm gonna live in my truth.
You answered something that we've been saying, like, how we be back and forth, back and forth. So which one is which?
Tiffany is professional. Sade is Miss Too Much.
I think it's vice versa. Because Sherelle is... Nah, I think Sherelle and Sade are more, like, evolved and... Teresa took what a hose at. We trying so hard to be outside. Be outside for, like, a day.
You ready to be outside a day?
Get your journal. Let's journal about how it felt to be outside.
Let's sit in this. We need an uncomfortable conversation.
I be half proud. I'm about to text them. I'm about to call them because we went hunting.
Then
and
we
this
got
means something.
We got cookies. We got chips, wine, and water.
Would you judge me, you sis? I'm about to ask you something. I'm not gonna bother you, but would you judge me if I tip? No, look what.
I promise you, it depends on the day, honestly.
That's some real. We got the right, like that. You just answered something we've been saying. Like we couldn't, and that is a form of versatility, although we don't see it as such.
Right. People look at all different personalities.
Yeah,
it is, but it is versatility. Like for real. We keeping it a buck, right? We keeping it a stack.
Yes.
I promise you. Now, like yesterday, I was in my business mode.
Mm-hmm.
I was on D&D all day.
And even though I was out yesterday, remember I told you I felt that way. Like somebody had asked to come with me, I'm saying,
Saturday, I went to volunteer.
Business mode.
I was in business mode. I went to volunteer for the less fortunate. I went to work.
I've been resting all weekend, except for yesterday. Mm-hmm.
Now today, Sade.
No, Sade is evolved.
So we're gonna say Sade is about. Well, I was Tiffany today. No, I was Tiffany today. Miss Too Much.
Hold on.
You said Sade and
is that right?
And Sherelle be evolved. Most people know me.
But I'm saying that because my club named Luxury Tax, that goes with Sherelle though, because it's a play on words. Luxury Tax means like I know my self-worth, and so it costs more. Like you have to come different to meet, like to be with me. So that's like Sherelle, not Chantrese.
So Tiffany. I don't know.
Or it could be different. Maybe Tiffany is Miss Too Much and Sherelle is Luxury Tax. Because we always say yin yang.
Well, I know when I say Sade.
Hold on, Sherelle. It hit different though.
It do, that thing sexy. It's sexy. So I'm gonna have to say Miss Too Much and Sade will be the same person. However,
that's hard.
Tiffany is my.
What they saying? What they call it? What you ask? And what they call is what you answer to.
Hey.
Woo. Look, I'm leaning over.
What
number we on?
We is relaxed.
It might be a part 1 and part 2 to this.
It's okay.
That's 2 weeks.
Hey, make it work.
Because we is talking. Yep. So we got next 2 weeks. So
I'm going to say, yes, it would be dependent on the day. It would depend on, all right, for you.
Huh? You gotta be specific who we asking about. Put your hand up. Or you can get contact clues. I don't care.
Winter.
What's the question? What's the question?
What was the question you asked me when I said?
But you know, we still like Cool.
So you could be Sherelle.
I was dealing with him before I was Sherelle.
So you can be either one. It don't matter.
Oh, that's what you asking.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
That's Chantrice.
And what's Chantrice again? Professional or the 2020?
Yes. It's only two people that I talked to that I would consider my Sherelle phase. And you know who they are. Last two people I talked to.
So who would get the Chantrice?
So when I say Sherelle, those are people that I feel like have helped me to evolve. Like I don't mean now I will say people that I've talked to in like 2020, like he's made me he's contributed to me being who I am today. But I feel like I have bare parts of my soul to down south and you know what I'm talking about. Most recent. I feel like I've had moments with them. Yes. But even like Winter was like the first person I had fun with outside of my relationship. Like once I was out of my relationship, like we had fun. But I would say the last two guys I've dealt with have really like changed me in ways that I mean, hell, even as I'll go as far as to say, like, setting boundaries, like dealing with men that actually set boundaries with me. I'm like, oh, shit. I don't just get what I want. Not like in the like literal sense, but I've said like trees. What are you talking
about? And with
right
those
now?
boundaries, they've been uncomfortable?
Yes.
But productive?
Yes. Why you ask? Oh, you talking about you?
No.
What?
With you, because, being selfish, that's a lie. Mm-hmm. So that means you're working on that. Mm-hmm. I am too.
And I've got to tell both of them that I realize that I have been selfish in our situation. Now, out of those two, it's only one that I would talk to on a serious level again. Because, and I've told the other one, like, I can't, his lifestyle is not for me.
Right.
I'm too, like, outgoing, bubbly. That don't take away from what he means to me. Like, he's somebody I always love and care about because he plays such a big part in my growth. But our lifestyles just can't merge. And stuff like, to me, is important because I don't have a child. I want I would like for my first experience with somebody to be like us having a child together in that I'm, having a child together. This is an uncomfortable conversation. Oh,
I'm going to say this. Never say never.
Let me correct myself. I'm saying that because of the experience in that situation.
Because people change. Things change.
You just have to change his lifestyle.
And you can't tell me that it won't? That it can't change?
It can.
Correct.
But
what? Just not in your time frame. That's again going back to being selfish.
But you have to consider like the trust that's been lost. You know me, I'm let me know what's up. And I can't help but to be that because I feel like that was one of our things. It got to the point he was like, I can't deal with you because you always know what's up. I'm not somebody that's one of my gifts. It's nothing I can do with that.
But what if they learn to appreciate that? Like right now, it's uncomfortable. Because believe it or not, you've even been told yourself that people are watching us, but they're just not, they hear us. And we see it for ourselves. We see it for ourselves that people, they're hearing us and gradually changing in that positive direction. What if that's something that they're doing? They're working on themselves. Because for yourself, like I even told you, people tell me, I hear you.
Tim? No, that's Sade. Okay. Do you believe that trust can be repaired once it's broken? I don't.
Yes, with actions. Yes. Let's be real.
I stopped because I would be shooting my own foot in the foot to say otherwise.
Because for real, think about it. Any relationship that you in, you even with ours, we have our bumps in the road or whatever, but that makes us stronger.
You know what? I gotta dead all of this because that was not a relationship. So maybe the conversation needs to be clearly. The issue was these have been. I think we both experienced situations where there were not clear titles involved. Like we were just, this is what it is. And because we both like this, I don't deal with people that I don't. If I'm dealing with somebody, automatically I owe you a certain level of loyalty because I don't allow everybody in my space. And so that's the mindset that I go into situations with. And so then when I feel like that's been infringed upon, I take it seriously. And I am liable to turn into a totally, this is not something I'm proud of. But at that point, I am liable to be a totally different person because, like, I don't know. I can't, you know what I mean? Like, trust is something for me and, like, loyalty. That's why I said I don't feel like I can repair that situation. Because when I called you on certain things, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm going to do better. All right, now I got to call you on this. And it wasn't like cheating or, well, he can't cheat on me because we weren't together, but that's been my issue. I've been in situationships. It's like trial runs. Like, let me see how you move before we determine if it's something that busts me open. What?
That's why for me,
did you still in the camera? Yeah.
Yesterday, church hit me in the chest.
What is
it? Because Pastor Hammond said, with every relationship. Now I might have interpreted differently. Their expectations. Every relationship. I don't care whether it's the benefit. I don't care whether it's we're just friends. Their expectations.
That's real.
It is. We can sit here and say, for yourself, we say to ourselves.
Because if you don't call me today,
right. We say to ourselves. No, we say to each other, I'm going to go into it with no expectations. We lying.
Every time.
We lying to ourselves. Yesterday hit me, like, for reference, like, when I tell you, punch me, suck, like, what was his name? Floyd Mayweather.
What you said earlier today? Somebody.
I said, Lord, the bastard hit me in the throat. Yes, with every relationship, I don't care what it involves. If it's just a friendship, no benefits, there's still expectations.
They feel the same way. How many times have we said, all right, I'm gonna give him the same energy. Oh, I ain't heard from you. Oh, so you expect to hear from me every day. Nice to know.
Same. Vice versa.
So what I'm saying is the fact that we have those expectations going to every situationship, that's okay until the other person don't get what they want out of it. Because look at we won't together. What's the issue?
Expectations.
And I was cool with that until you showed me otherwise. I shouldn't have expectations of you. Okay, say less.
So that means that you're feeding off of them then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's something I have to work on. I just, like, when I am loyal to, and maybe that's something I need to work on too, because when I'm dealing with somebody, I'm already loyal. Like,
I get what you're saying.
Like, we talked about the multiple guys. Right. I don't know how to do that. Because I have favorites.
Honestly,
if I like, I have favorites. I have favorites.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to date. I am.
You mean in terms of dating multiple people?
No, even just dating one. I have gotten so content with being single. And for real, like, depending on who it is that ring this phone, I can do just like this.
I got my notifications set like men. It's on like I forgot what it's called on iPhone, but like it don't pop up. So I'll just see that somebody text me if I go into my messages. If I happen to open like my actual messages, it won't pop up in my notifications because what I realized was happening was like I would get like a rush. Like, oh my god, he texted me. When the other things I just happened to have my phone inside,
Right.
and it surprised me, and I reacted that way because we were just talking about them. But I learned like I would get like a rush from getting a text message, and then I would expect that rush to continue. Like so, when they didn't text the next day, it was like, oh, like
Right.
I ain't get that rush today. So now everybody quiet. I get to you when I get to you, and tell you my man. I got that's
Right. And like for real, now I don't have my notifications or anything set where they don't come or anything, but it's just like the idea of someone hitting me up and telling me how beautiful I am. And I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I have just gotten used to the drama free life. I have just gotten used to the peace. And it's just like somebody can hit me up and tell me how beautiful I am. Thank you.
Yeah. But that mean more to me now coming from my girls. Or like, because we do it for ourselves every day.
Right.
So we leave the house and we look good. And then somebody else adds to it. It's like, thank you, right? I know, right? Like, I
went to the gas pump one morning. And one guy came and he was pumping his gas. I was pumping my gas. He said, "You have a beautiful smile." And I'm like, thank you.
And it be stuff like that. Like, don't talk about my body. Don't talk. Like, your spirit is beautiful. And it's like when you have that love for yourself, people approach you differently. Like, ain't no, I got fat. Like, we don't get that.
That don't bother me. So I'm
scared.
You took the words out of my mouth.
You were scared to say it. I had to say it for you.
I am.
I'm scared because I know how devoted I can become in situations. And I'm afraid of like finding out that why am I cursing so much today?
He's in you.
This is our thing. This is ours. This is how we talk. But you do a much better job of it than me. Can you help me? What was I about to say? That feeling of finding, like coming across something you ain't even mean to come across, and like it's like everything around you disappear, and you like, oh shoot, and this person is not who I thought they were. I don't want that feeling because it would disrupt my whole. Like I would have to stop everything I'm doing and address that because I would not be able to function in the way that I need to. Yeah. Because it's that feeling of somebody not be. What's the opposite of being loyal?
Disloyal. Not honest.
I gotta go to the bathroom again. Last episode. Go. Like you act, teaching the class, man.
You know, after every can of water.
So we done did this. We done got 2 episodes out of them.
Hold on, because we ain't finished.
I know.
Hold on.
Pull it up. What is why are you giving me the most?
Cousin.
Who we toasting to?
Growth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What was the last thing we said?
If somebody was gonna give us $1 million, if we could think the last thing we said, we scared. Great God, she want the million.
You got the lucky. I am scared.
What is this?
I am scared because I fall in love hard and deep.
Do you feel like now we can learn how to grow in love instead of fall in love? Because you only fall when there's nothing there to catch you. If we growing, that means our foundation is deeply rooted, which means you got, like we just had that conversation on the phone. Like you have somebody that's willing to, that wants to build and grow with you. I feel like falling in love is like when we want it more than the other person. Maybe that's a part of the fairy tale too. Me thinking,
as long as sex is not involved. For real.
What you mean?
I feel like sex changes every single thing. For me. Because I can't have just casual sex. Because first of all, in order for me to have sex with you, I have to be attracted to you. So if sex is not involved, then we can grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. When sex get involved, I just feel like it clouds everything.
I thought it would cloud everything if the foundation weren't already there. Because I've had an experience where I've had built a relationship with somebody. We had sex. That was what, I don't want to say all that, but it had been some time and it didn't change anything. And we were both like, did this change anything for you? Mm-mm. It was good, but
maybe that's just my mindset.
But we were forced to, like, it was, you know what I mean? Like, because we didn't see each other all the time. Because of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like he just said, Deshaun said on the phone, he had an experience where he had sex and that was a relationship that lasted
5 years. I'm open. I'm going to be open. I'm not going to be selfish. And I have to tell myself that. You know how I speak myself affirmations every morning? I'm working on the selfish part. I really am. Because I'm not going to put it this way. I enjoy being single. I have a great time with me. But I do desire companionship. I am going to get married again.
And I was just about to say, do you feel like we've grown to be more selfish because it's just been us? Like, we haven't been in a relationship in, 4 years? Almost 4 years?
Right. I've always been selfish, though.
I have, too.
I mean, I'm not. What?
But you talk about how in your marriages you have catered to...
I have catered.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I've also pushed them away. Because it's like my way or no way. And believe me, it takes a lot for me to say that. Like, I had to have that uncomfortable conversation with myself when we had that conversation of realizing that we were selfish. Because we were sitting on a Friday night talking about this, and I said, sis, you know what? We're selfish. Like, yeah. Because it got to be this way or no. This way or no. This way or no. Basically, our way. But I do realize now, and I'm woman enough to admit it, that I'm very selfish. And I'm not going to sit here and blame it on anybody, but I basically was raised like the world is in the palm of my hands. This is my world. Y'all living in it.
Mm-hmm.
I could ride the bike through the house, the tricycle through the house, and nobody would say anything. Like, you better not. My grandfather used to ask me, do you want a kid? My great-grandfather, Gramps, I love you to death. Like, y'all, you want the kids to play with your toys today? If I say no, he gonna put them up and they can't play with them. If I say yes, and I say some of them playing with them too rough, he would take them from them. I was the youngest. We would have kickball games and stuff at Granny house. If I didn't win, all the kids had to get out of the yard. And I was the youngest. And the kids, like, they couldn't stand me because of that.
That's making stuff make sense.
It does. But I'm willing to admit that. And admittance is the first step. And I do realize that. I can look back now on my previous relationships and I can say, you know what? I was the problem. In some instances, I will say I was.
And I have used the fact that I know I can call my... Oh, shoot. I have used the fact that I know I can call my daddy for anything as a manipulation tactic. Because you got about 5 minutes to figure it out. I'm going to call my daddy. And men don't want to hear that.
You talking about if you're in a relationship? Or just in general?
In a relationship, I've used it in situationships. Not like directly, but like, oh, I ain't worried about that because I can just call my daddy. Like, I've always used it as I really don't need you type thing. Like, if it came down to it, if I'm sitting on the side of the road, I know I don't have to call you because I can call my daddy. And I think a part of me has used that as a kind of like a defense mechanism to make me, because like I said, I've dealt with men that I knew if it came down to it, I could not call you. And so like I kind of tricked myself into believing that I was okay with that because I always knew I could call my daddy. But I want to deal with somebody that, if I'm dealing with you on a certain level, I need to be able to call you. And now that I've experienced that, it's like they've set a new standard. What?
You don't have to answer if you don't want to
Okay.
answer. What level is that?
Wait, but what you mean?
Is that friends with benefits? Is that dating, or is that this hybrid?
But hold on, when you say that, what you mean? Like being able to call them?
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes back to the way that I see the act of sex. Like, I don't see that as like just something. And again, I've had an experience where it was just like that. I don't expect nothing from this person for real. Like, no, thank you. But when I'm giving of myself in that way, in my mind, the person, like, you should know, like, this ain't just a free ride kind of thing. Like, in my mind, if I'm giving of myself in that way, I already have expectations of how, like, this should go from here. In terms of, I should be able to call you if I need something.
Now going back to the conversation with Deshaun.
I mean, after tonight, I guess I got to look at that differently.
Okay. Growth.
Nah, effective. The way we was traveling, moms. My issue is when you can say when you appreciate something that I'm doing to show you I care, but you don't think you have to reciprocate that. That's an issue. But I can't blame the person because I allowed it.
Is that dating?
No.
Is that hybrid relationship?
Think about the male friends that we have. That we would do, I don't want to say anything, that's a stretch. But we would do for them out of the love that we have for them as a friend.
That's us.
That's true.
That's us.
We live in I gotta adjust to this world. I put that on my story today. Like I say this, I'm being dramatic when I say this, but I hate the type of person that I am in this world. Like I feel like it's so much overthinking that has to happen. Just like I just can't be. Like, do you feel that way sometimes? Like in terms of dating and stuff, like I have to think through, well, if you send a good morning text, then he gonna feel like you on him. Like I just want you to have a good day. Like I say, my girls.
To answer your question, reading this book right here. Mm-hmm. Your Purpose is Calling. I realize, don't conform.
I'm not, but I don't like the feeling.
It's supposed to be uncomfortable. I'm still stuck on chapter 1. I've read it, but like when I tell you, like, this is the introduction.
I'm gonna read it next.
I promise you, this first chapter right here, he says, if I could take everything I want to tell you on the topic of identity and boil it down to just 2 words, here's what will come out. Be yourself.
It ain't easy.
It's not easy. And it don't supposed to be easy because if it was easy, then everybody would do
themselves.
It takes a lot to know your purpose and to know your position. And I feel like that's where we are with our growth, and we have that open-minded. We're open-minded that we're willing to be teachable. We're willing to grow. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's going to be uncomfortable. Think about the caterpillar. Every time that caterpillar sheds its shell or sheds its skin, it becomes closer to a butterfly. I'm pretty sure it hurts. Look how when you exercise and use the muscles you haven't used. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. Because I feel like where we're going, everybody ain't meant to go with you.
I journaled about it the other day, so that's confirmation. I'm getting here yet.
It's okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, everybody ain't meant to go with you. And people may say, oh, she thinks she bougie, she this, she that.
I do.
And it's okay, because just like Pastor Hammond said again, that I will never forget that sermon where he said, elevate with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, an idle mind is a devil's playground. And just like, you were told, like, you get up every day grinding on what you're supposed to.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, you said you really know. Like, how am I gonna better myself?
And then, yeah, right. But then, we had the conversation where I realized he did the same. He does the same exact thing, but just not in the way that I saw it. Like half the time, I was walking him to the door in the morning. He was out the house like it was our house, out his house before me.
And that just goes to show that perception is everything, because you were speaking it and showing it, and he wasn't speaking, he was just showing it.
And all he was trying to say is, I don't want to get lost in the sauce. That's all that man was trying to communicate. We had that conversation. But me, because I'm going to be out here grinding. And he's saying, look, if I'm up grinding, why do you have to work just as hard as me? And I'm the man of the house. What would I hear? Because I'm not going to be sitting there and trying to give me a better life. Trying to say, you could do all that. But I'm just saying, I don't want you to have to work as hard as me. Tiff, because I ain't going to be sitting at home. Growth is something.
It is. It don't taste good.
And it don't always, people can't always verbalize, or what am I trying to say? Sometimes I'm too busy trying to analyze it. I don't understand what somebody else is trying to verbalize. Because I've already come up in my mind with, if you're the person for me, this is how it should look. Yeah. When, like I said, the man was saying the same thing.
Just in his words.
Yeah. And he was like, I was already thinking of ways that I could have some things running automatically so that I could be more supportive of you. And look at me.
But because he wasn't saying it in your language.
Right. Yep.
But that goes back to selfishness. And
Oh,
but we've identified that.
And that had to help. That had to happen to give me that lesson, to teach me that lesson.
It didn't feel good in the meantime.
It didn't.
And it don't feel good now.
It don't.
However,
like, to really have somebody tell you about yourself and you listen, like, but not in a way that makes you feel less than, like, somebody that's really saying, let me tell you about yourself. And at the end, all you can say is, I know you're right.
But the thing is, though, I like the presentation. Like, you telling me about myself, but you're not being rude. You're not being anything. Like, we really sitting here having that one-on-one. And I'm telling you, I appreciate that.
Is it anybody in your past that you could see, like, now that you've grown, we don't know how much growing they done did, like, anybody, but is it anybody in your past that you would consider, like, trying again, based on your level of growth, and based on, like, maybe some things that they were saying, situationship, whatever, some things that they were telling you that you couldn't accept in that moment, but now that you have a better understanding of yourself, that you see things differently.
And what's your question again? Is that you asked, is there anyone else that I would consider in my past, correct? I'm going to say yes, but however, I still have to work on me. There's still some level of, my main thing, I have to work on selfishness. I do. I have to work on being content with being single. And when I have to work, because right now, friends with benefits, a relationship, none of that is what I want right now. I feel like that's not what I desire, the companionship.
Do you feel like you want a relationship but you're scared? The two can exist. Meaning you can want something and still be scared to do it.
I am. I will say, but I still, at the end of the day, I still got to work on my selfishness.
So, and like we talk about, some things you can only work on inside of a relationship, because that's where you're going to have that constant test and correction. Now we can kind of monitor or like pick and choose our lessons in being selfish. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean, but I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I'm not like, it comes from being single.
Wait, what comes from being single?
The
Awareness?
things that I need to work on. It comes from being single. Like, cooking every night is not something that I'm going to do.
Why do you feel like you have to? Are you assuming that's what a man needs to be?
I'm assuming that's I need, and I don't even think this is being selfish, because by me being a businesswoman, I'm out working just as hard as you are. So if you make it home before me, you ain't even got to cook. I don't mind you picking up something. You know what I'm saying? But don't have that expectation that I'm going to cook, like you beat me home and I'm going to come in this house and I'm going to cook.
Right.
Because I'm not.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're a team. It ain't a gender, for me, it's not a gender specific task. Mm-hmm. Just like if you need to go outside, if you're outside working on your car, if you're outside in the yard, I don't mind coming out and help you, because I look at that as my form of exercise.
And you know, that's one thing I was like, until I dealt with somebody that worked on stuff and I found myself out there.
Right. And my biggest thing, and the one thing I have to give to my parents, is that, like, people might look at it as being crazy, but like, I really know how to really work on a car, like as far as the basics, changing a tire and stuff like that. Keep me abreast on those things.
That ain't I can't do none of that.
But if I'm on the side of the road in the dark, then I need to make sure I'm in that survival mode.
Your man is not gonna let you. You talking about as a single woman?
Right, but let's say, for example, as a single woman, let's say, for example,
if you outside the road on the side of the road, I get what you're saying. But I think that's us getting too comfortable being single. Because we have dumb stuff no. And that's one thing, like, I love the fact that we have different experiences in that. And, like, your dad taught you that stuff as a form of love. And my dad didn't let me do stuff like that as a form of love. Right. You know what I mean? He was like, no. Like, you call somebody. You don't. Now, I do agree it's still something I want to know. But I know me. Sometimes the less I know, walk with me on this. The less I know, the better, because it'll get me to a point, like, even further in this space of I don't need a man.
Well,
I think it's good that I don't know how to do all that, and I like the feeling of, for me, like that delicacy of like not doing that stuff. I feel like that helps me remain my version of femininity, like not. Like, when I was, that man saved me money. When he changed that light bulb on that car, I was in the house taking a nap. He was like, it's done. Oh, my God. Like, I don't want to deal with car stuff.
Really? Now, see,
and I've done it as a single woman, and I'm like, oh, my God. Like, this is for the birds.
You see?
I hate
but
it.
They said we that, what is it, yin and yang? Because for me, like, seeing Mom in the race car, checking tire pressure and fixing the stuff up in the car. And
that's different.
How?
She about to be fixing that pressure.
I know.
Because that's like a...
But that's sexy to me. But it, like, if you know how to check the tire pressure on the race car, you know how to check. I think that's sexy.
Yeah, that's different too. I ain't gonna be sliding from under the car like Jerome or Martin checking
you
stuff
think
under
I'm
the thing.
I have a, what you call a cover all on?
The most I did was that day I got up under the I think what was it? At the lot. I think it's under the door. Crawl my leg.
You know what I mean?
That was a stretch.
That's the such and such. You know, it's but see, for me,
I like being taught that stuff. Like,
working on a car, for me, I just think that's sexy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna be putting no daggone motor or anything like that.
I'll be out there and talk to and teach me, but I ain't gonna be able to go outside.
Like, boo, excuse me.
You ain't gonna call me for a babe, go in the garage, change the tire before I get home for me real quick.
Oh, no.
Okay.
We're gonna do it together. But it's like,
remember other things said, he was like, because we was asking him, was like, so you mean to tell me, he was like, I don't want my woman to be able to lift the same Say less. You ain't gotta worry about me. Tempo. Breaker, 1, 2. You ain't gotta worry about me.
For me, man, like, I guess my love for cars and being around
I
them.
like cars too, but I ain't gonna be up in the one.
Let me put some.
I say that.
Let me check the oil. Yes, you will. I promise you. You get the right man. Yes, you will be. I promise you, gonna be greasy. You gonna be looking like Rudolph coming through with leaving Santa Claus. I promise you. You're not gonna really be doing nothing, but you just gonna be. You gonna be on the little thing sliding back. What is this? You really just gonna be getting on their nerves. For real. They gonna be under there tightening up something. What's that? I ain't gonna say getting on their nerves. You just
teach me how to shoot a gun. That's sexy to me. Now that was sexy.
Now, see, now for me that's
why it was sexy, because I don't like to be in possession of it. But the level of patience that man had, like, and it won't like, no, you holding the gun, you gotta be. It was like, nah, like, this is what this is. All right, when you pointed, like, it was like that patience. And then he was like, that wasn't bad, was it? Did you feel any da-da-da? Did you mind?
Let me see. My biggest fear is snakes.
All right, we ain't gonna never get past that.
I'm even willing to say this.
No, don't say it. Then somebody might try to use it against us.
Depending on the right person, I might even touch the snake.
Okay.
For real. Like, if I trust you and
I can't say that because them
Right.
daggone dogs.
Because you were scared of dogs.
I got the mark on my leg, and
if I trust you and
that's
you
real.
give me that reassurance that it's okay, and baby, I got you. You think I won't? And now, don't get me wrong, you ain't gonna put that snake around my neck, but I'm willing to do a little. I've never touched a snake, never. But what I'm saying is, the right person will prepare you for the right event.
Woo!
And I mean that.
You
and
right.
I feel like that once I experience that, I know that's my person. That thing that got wet-eyed over there. For real. Like,
it's been too long.
Lost with you. You about to be a lit. What Peter said, you about to be a lit tonight. You can write a 13-page letter. You gonna be the lit. But the right person will prepare you for the right thing. I promise you. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this as far as getting all out of the aspect of a relationship with like getting out of the way of like a sexual relationship or anything like that. I couldn't stand cars at one time. But when me and my father got close,
that was y'all bonding. How y'all bonding?
The cars is our bonding. Like, for real. Like, my dad is like, I'm his number one fan. People know when I go to the track, they know I am my dad's number one fan. And I expect my dad to be my number one fan when I get out there and drive the Mortician. Now, if he don't, he gonna crush my heart. But no, like.
And that's crazy you said that the men that I've been closest to have been the men that was truck drivers.
Which goes back to your day.
Getting too deep. Getting too deep.
So.
Knee deep.
Like, for real, like, if you, like, my dad let me know, I remember going to the race. I was living in Georgia and going to the race in Florida, and me and him started bonding. And when I tell you, like, our bond has been awesome. Mm-hmm. And dealing with cars, I have no desire for cars now. You me take the tire pressure, daddy. You me put the battery cable. You me put the battery charger on. You check the spark plug. You got your seatbelt?
And because it's something that means something to him, like seeing him win means that much more. Like that. What track was we at?
Then
and he didn't know we was coming. Was this?
That was Maryland. That was Maryland. That was last year before last. And him seeing us there.
It was Maryland.
It was Maryland when he won that last race.
Yep.
It was Maryland when he seen us show up. It was amazing. I ain't gonna lie. I felt like a celebrity today. You couldn't tell me nothing.
And even though your dad is my cousin, like I call him my second dad. And because he's open to having those conversations with us and taking that time to like. Mm-hmm.
And really, that's a lot because coming from an older generation and willing to listen to us, like that's big. I commend her for that. But it's like,
we just took a journey on this podcast, boy.
I'm telling you, we're gonna change.
I'm forgetting we recording because this is how we be talking.
Girl, I ain't ready for that recording, but
I keep forgetting.
I will.
What time is it? 10 o'clock.
And mom, that slipped them slippers.
10:30.
Is it? Yeah. But I just say that regardless of the situation, whether it's a platonic, whether it's a parent, whether it's a sexual relationship or whatever, if you feel like you can trust that person,
that says a lot.
It does.
Like, genuinely trust. Not, I'm only going to say to you what I feel like you can handle and not throw back in my, like, genuinely
honest.
Yep.
Because and I keep on going back to this, he probably gonna say, oh Lord. But for dad to say, hallelujah, when I said we realized that we were selfish, like, that didn't hurt my feelings.
Right.
It did it all because I appreciate it.
And because he has learned too, we don't respond well to, like, when we aren't receptive of what he's saying, like that back and forth. How can I explain it? Like when he was telling us about how we need a man. We was like, no, we don't. Like it was almost like he was trying to prove in that moment why we need a man. And we was looking at it like, you're not celebrating us being independent women and not feeling like we need. So now I think he's learned, like he'll drop a nugget and be like, see you when you get it. Kind of thing.
See you when it grows, when it sprout. And I appreciate the fact that
it's a safe space.
Don't give up on us.
He be saying he will say equally like he's proud of us and stuff like that too.
Yes. And a whole lot of people though, they really, really are. Just like,
but it definitely means something coming from somebody you see as a father figure. Like for me, that's one of my that's my second dad for real. Like he's just been he's poured so much into us. Like even getting up, cooking us. Like he gets so excited when we say we coming to stay here. Yeah. He up sliding them slippers around, making us brunch. Y'all want to take a drink? Good God, we just got up.
Ain't brushed our
ain't thank the Lord for the day yet.
Been doing the same for my lipstick all day.
Ain't thank the Lord for the day yet.
But it just goes to show like that. And I will say it. I know I need a man in my life. Hey, teacher, I'm in the back of the classroom, hand up high. I do. Am I afraid? Yes. Am I ready? I don't know. What about you? Are you ready for a relationship?
I don't know.
Are you scared?
Yes.
What are we going to do about it? Another episode.
Text back.
And it know what day it is.
I ain't gonna lie to you. What am I gonna do about it? I'm gonna be open. And I'm gonna continue to acknowledge my shortcomings. Because I realize too, when you can say, yo, I messed up, or like I apologize for how I probably made you feel when I didn't acknowledge how you was feeling. Like I feel like that creates a space where they like, okay, she gave some, let me give some. One analogy we used to use is think about it in terms of, hold on, I don't know if I can regurgitate this. The only reason why things didn't work with the last person you was with, just generally speaking, is because at some point somebody was not willing to be the person to say, all right, I'll take one for the team. Think about any situation. At some point, I'll give you mine. I was not willing to stay and experience what I was experiencing, that discomfort any longer. If I would have been like, maybe this is a season, let me allow him the space to grow, let me acknowledge what I wasn't at a place where I could do that. So I was like, all right, I'm out. This is over. But had I stayed, who's to say where we could have been? I can't say, because I never thought I would be in this place. Like, I remember when I left that relationship, it was like I remember talking to God and I said, God, I can't be single for 4 years. I swear to God. I said, God, I can't imagine being single for 4 years. Because I would watch like YouTube videos and stuff, and women would talk about, I left my relationship and now I'm 3 years in, I'm 4 years in, and da-da-da-da. I was like, oh no, I can't be single for 4 years. I'm here.
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think I could be single for
for
a
a
week.
day. I literally used to look at my calendar, and this was after like I was over it, but I knew I didn't like being by myself. So I thought I would literally go from week to week. Like every time I would make it to another Saturday, I'd be like, "Oop, another week down. Oop, another week down." And then it got to the point I was like, "Oh, we 2 years in. Let her roll."
And that goes to show repetition. You tell yourself something long enough, you believe it.
So we need to stop saying that we content single. Because if you think about it, why we gotta keep saying that? We waving that. We act like we in the single five beta single club,
We are.
and that maybe we need to stop
All right.
because we continue to tell ourselves that we are content being single, and we're getting having even more discontentment with the idea of a relationship.
And I agree. Every day it gets easier.
In the wrong direction. All that we want to be in life, we need a man.
I agree. I totally agree. I desire that companionship.
We need that balance because we too soft.
I want
In
to
business,
be able.
somebody gonna crip walk on us in business.
But he coming. Whether he's coming.
But if he'd already arrived. What did I read? I posted it on my story today, and I was being funny. Oh God, stop with the signs.
I haven't even been at.
I was out there in the yard before we came in, and this is why I was leaving. Right, I was leaving for work. It said, "What if the person God sent you to? What if the person God sent you to help you get to the next level is a person you pushed away because you thought you wasn't ready?" And I was being funny. I was like, "The dude, you remember the dude from Mona Lounge? He had set the date, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not ready. I'm not going. I canceled the date." What he said? Hashtag be blessed.
Be blessed.
I said, "Oh, these old niggas don't play.
They ready. They ain't got time to be playing no games."
I was being funny, but what if we met the person? I don't know. What if we have? And just because it didn't come in the level of comfortability that we wanted to, I think in terms of being a fairy tale, we both want something to be like getting a relationship. But it's the easiest Sunday morning. Like we want every day when we walk in the house and be, "Hey, babe, nice to see you." Some days he could be stressed out about something. He like, "Hey, babe."
That's why I say I'm living a fairy tale world. Because you know when I come home, I'm gonna turn on my music.
You're not gonna feel like that every day.
I feel like it now.
Because we single. But when you got two people that's trying to work towards a common goal, we get along so well because we can take a break from each other. Like if I'm having a day, we might not talk.
Right.
Because I know I just need my time. We can't do that in no relationship for real. You got to come to the same house. And you want a cluck, jolly mood, and he just want to be left alone. We got to respect that. But that's going to be hard for us.
But see, that'll be my time where I'll just go and work out.
So you going to work out 8 hours?
Mm-mm. When I work out, I'm going to come home. I'm going to take my shower. And you better be ready for me to touch you because that's my love language and I'm going to touch
That's
you.
being selfish.
And that's being selfish. My point exactly.
So you think by you being single, you're going to learn how not to be... Maybe you want to be touchy so much because we ain't been in a relationship for 4 years. Because I remember being in my relationship. I was like, "Nigga, why is you on me right now?" And I like cuddling and stuff. But it was just times where I just wanted to... Can we just sit here and watch TV? Please?
I ain't never been like that.
I have. But maybe, okay, well maybe. That was a sign in the wrong direction.
Maybe I promise you.
Maybe that was the end was near, maybe.
I'm going to be needy. Like, I do know this. I'm going to be needy. And I'm willing to admit that, just like I said, I do want another child. And I will say, like...
You right, too.
I'm not going to lie to you. I promise you. The baby might kick one time. I promise you're going to act like they didn't kick about 10, 12 times. Baby, can you hold me?
I be so... you right. Because I was so touchy-feely, I had to ask for consent. Is this too much for you?
Yes!
He was like, "Nah, you good."
I'm
on your face, on your beard.
Yes!
Can you take your gun off so I can sit in your lap? We in the house. Why you guys... Well, it's time to go to bed. Like, we could both be walking to the bedroom. If he stopped to do something, oh my God, come on. And I think it got to the point he thought it was funny, so he would purposely, like, do stuff. And I'd be sitting like this. I thought you was going to bed, but you taking too long. Come on.
Right. And then when you get in the bed, I'm going to
stop this crap.
I'm going to take my foot and slide it up under your leg. And the next thing you know, my whole body is really going to be up under your body. That's how I am.
My body, your body.
We don't need but a
burning up.
little single bed for real. Cause I need that warmth, that heartbeat. That puts me to sleep. It does. Like,
Is this a therapy is this a diagnosis?
I don't know. And don't have a
Fixation.
beard. I'm gonna hold your beard and I'm gonna go to sleep.
That's why I date men with beard. Cause that beard can be coming from riding down the road.
Yes. All I want to do is do this.
Don't get a fresh cut. Come here.
Give me grace your scalp.
Man.
Enough is enough, Lord.
I mean, that sucker, I laid on his lap while he oiled my scalp. That's the stuff I like.
Me too.
A man that know how to be, like, cater to your needs as a woman, too. It ain't all that tough stuff. Take you tough outside.
But does this include taking these braids out? Because you're not going to take these braids. That's what I'm saying. Oh, babe.
You know you could get a man that will take braids out.
I ain't going to say I can't.
You hear me? You know exactly who I'm talking. Think about the dude I'm talking about. You know, if I asked him to take my braids out, he would.
Mm-hmm.
So why you don't feel like that? Why are we acting like before that we would have said that was fair? Well, no, because my ex would have helped. He would have helped me do stuff like that. But before those experiences, we would have thought that was a fairy tale until we experienced. Look at how what we accept and don't accept in relationships has increased and changed because of what we've experienced different types of men. So that's why we need to date.
All right, we're going to work on that. Are we dating multiple?
How do you date?
I don't know. I told you I don't know how to date people. I don't know how to date one.
That's why we need to practice.
What I'm going to do?
Call that boy that took you to that wine place.
Don't even worry about it.
That ain't somebody you want to be with. You verbalize it to you. He still wants to take you out for more hamburger. So, no, that's how people get hurt.
Right.
Because his feelings gonna steady grow. And I don't believe, you know me, I don't believe in using people just for a meal and stuff.
Right. I treat people the way I want to be treated.
Right.
And I don't want to lead nobody on.
But are you leading them on if you told them?
Yep. Because your actions are not aligning with your words.
That's true. He
got hope. Yep.
I mean, he got a chance.
And I've been there. I've been in that situation where you get hope. You're giving hope. So no, I don't want to do it. I treat people the way that I want to be treated.
That's real. Because he wouldn't be, because he already too far.
Mm-hmm. Again, I desire companionship, but I'm still working on me.
That's another in the process. You gotta practice what we preach. Because look at all the business-wise, the things we ain't feel like we was ready for. And once we put our little toe in the water, how many more opportunities came and the people that we needed to help us along? That hasn't been happy-go-lucky every day. We've had challenges, but it's something we want, so we figure it out.
Okay. I want a hybrid relationship then. Remember we talked about taking it from doing the Venn diagram?
That's just your qualities of what you want in a man.
Right.
Look at us complicating stuff. We talk about how we just say hybrid. Well, you just say hybrid now. We think that's something right. Yeah, that's it, hybrid. That's just a list of what we want in a man. Hold on. Mike, oh my God. I gotta talk to my mom when I get home. Because she told me about a sermon Mike Todd preached. She told me this a long time ago. Girl, I wrote a list about a man. The list so daggone long. And I've had qualities that I thought I wanted in a man that didn't mean nothing at the end of the day. They still were not good people. Not good for me. She was talking about how Mike Todd had a sermon. I got to find it now. This was like a year or so ago. And it said, throw away your list. Because I think I journaled about this the other night. We are developing our list based on the things that make us comfortable where we are now. Mm-hmm. God knows where he's taking us. So the type of man that we need 5 years from now might not be the man that we desire today. So God knows where he's taking him, that guy, and where he's taking us. And maybe we not meant to get it right now. Or I don't want to say get it right, but everything is not going to necessarily appear the way to, it's not a ready-made situation. Relationships are not ready-made.
Okay. So now I want you to take that glass and turn it up and finish the rest of that. Finish the rest that's in there, because you always say about that situation.
Which one?
The one you learned a lot from. You always say never. I never. Go on, finish it. Finish.
What they got to do with anything?
Because you sat there and said, because right now, y'all are not meant to be together.
Oh my God.
Y'all are not meant to be together. But God see that butterfly. You're learning everything now. They are learning what they need to learn now. And then. So you're right. You never can say never.
You're right. That's a good point.
Because if you wouldn't have never learned what he taught you, it would have been a culture shock later on. Right? If you would have been exposed, it would have been a shock. Like for me, my first time flying, I'd done it by myself. It was a culture shock for me because I never had experienced it. You get what I'm saying? So if you never would have experienced them, you never would have never experienced that environment.
My issue is this. It's not, okay, I say it's about the lifestyle that he had, but it's really about I can't trust you to tell me the truth. I can't trust you that if I ask you if I should be concerned about something, you're going to say, no, I got it. Even though hell could be, like, I could, you know what I mean? That's the part of it that I don't feel safe with. I don't feel comfortable with.
Can you relinquish that control for a minute?
No.
May I ask why?
Because you've already shown me that in order to maintain, and I understand it's certain, you've already shown me that I can't trust you. I can't trust you. Like, you know how important, like, trust is to me. And I always tell, like, even, I think I said this before, I tell my male friends this. The way God created us is so that, like, that women's intuition, it saves us. Like, it is our safety mechanism. That is what God planted in us to let us know something's not right. Be on the watch for this. Like, so when you lie to a woman for your own personal gain, you are disarming her in a way that might be putting your future kids in danger. Because, like, if I've told you something ain't right, like, you moving silly, and you go tell me, nah, nothing, da da da. And I only know this now because now you've come back and said, like, you was right. And that's why I couldn't, we couldn't do that right now. You're now teaching that woman that when she feels that feeling. So maybe she in the daggone mall with your kid. And she's saying, yo, something ain't right. Like, I can't really put my finger on it, but something just don't feel right. And I feel like I want to leave. But so-and-so always tell me I be tripping when I feel like that. Then they get to shoot in the mall. Then what? Now you don't put your child and your wife at risk because for your own personal gain, you telling her she's tripping all the time when she's feeling something and she's telling you something's not right. I have an issue with that.
I get where you're coming from. Look how long it took us to hold ourselves accountable. We was deflecting on everything. I'm single because of no. I am single. Just last week, I am single because I'm selfish. We've been single 4 years, and it took us 4 years to realize that. It took us our lifetime to realize that. It's always willing to, you're ready to, throw it on somebody's butt.
So with that situation, and maybe I got to dig a little deeper as to why. I think it's removed my feeling of safety with him. I mean, I flew out to Timbuktu to meet him. So to me, that was an unheard level of, like, trust. I got you and my mom in a group message. Look, this is where I'm going. Da da da.
That's where that grace, forgiveness. We expect it. Why can't we give it? And we put it this way. We only give it to who we want to give it to at the time. That grace, that mercy, and that forgiveness. What you about to say?
So what I hear you saying is, I can't do that because that's too much information. So what I hear you saying is, Okay, no, let me ask it this way. Where do we draw the line in terms of that? Like, what's the difference between extending grace and, like, I don't want to say going back. I don't feel like that's a step. That's why we wouldn't work, because it would make me very uncomfortable. Let me stop dancing around. It would not work because it would make me too uncomfortable. Because now I don't have a baseline for my like our trust.
But were you in a relationship?
No.
In our heads, we may be in a relationship. I do a relationship thing.
Oh, people walking. What defines that though? So you mean to tell me we could be doing relationship things, and just because we ain't say we're in a relationship, people that say we're in a relationship, we married, do effed up stuff. I don't think it. I mean, I don't think that should not be the determining factor as to how you treat somebody because you got that out. Because technically, we didn't say we're in a relationship. Because I ain't got a wedding ring on and I'm married. Does that mean I get to wild out, act a fool? No, it's about your integrity and your character. Like you knew the situation.
That's a thin line right there, though.
It is.
It's a very thin line.
I guess when you define what things are, then you can hold people accountable in a different way.
Right. Let me know what's up. Let me know. We're not you. Let me know. We're going to compromise on what's up. And that's where that conversation goes back with what Deshaun said. The friends with benefits, it needs to be discussed. Because what's understood don't need to be explained. That's not true. Because my definition of friends with benefits was totally different than what he gave today. So, I think it's a fine line. Like, are we, what they say, are you single, single? Are you exclusive? Are we, you know what I'm saying?
That's another conversation. You remember how at first the man was like cheating? It was like, that's crazy. But we asked, who was the second man we talked to?
A female even told us the difference in cheating and cheating.
But okay, so they was like, cheating is just y'all talking, but cheating is y'all having sex.
Mm-hmm.
But then we talked to another man that said, if I just have sex, that's not cheating. But having a relationship, like the emotional connection, that's cheating.
Right.
And it's based on like what they value. So a man that's like, oh, we just like sex is just whatever. I can have sex with somebody and then not mean nothing. But they know if they get attached to a female, they start building an emotional connection. That's cheating because it is more connection there. Whereas a man that doesn't really value that communication as much, but if I'm having sex with him, like that's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Who was that person that said? Do you remember who it was?
I just know it was several people that was trying to explain what cheating.
But then we had the one person that said having sex was like not the, like when you build a relationship with somebody, that's cheating. I can't remember where we were at. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I think we was at the school.
That was this was more recent when they explained it backwards. Who was we on the phone with, or?
Well, we asked several people because I couldn't believe that people was really trying to explain cheating. I'm like, cheating is cheating. But several people explained it.
Mm-hmm. But that is, I mean, even though, like I said, a word or a title should not determine how you treat somebody, at least my lesson in that is it allows you to hold that person accountable differently. Because now everybody out is, well, we want together. Myself included. Why you mad? We want together. You said we want together.
So I think it should be talked about. Mm-hmm. It needs to be this is what we are, this is what we agreed to.
Agreed.
I do.
So where do we put our hyphen in today's conversation?
We're not ready for friends with benefits. Oh, no, let me correct that. Friends with benefits is not. The way it was explained today is not what we want. And we do want a relationship. I feel. We keep on saying that we're not ready, but I feel like we're not ready because we're not ready to, I'm going to say, be exposed. And when I say be exposed, is mean like being literally like giving our all to that man.
We have not, and I say this, but I don't believe it for myself. We are used to conditional love. So like my fear is that being in a situation where, like you said, we are exposed, like our deepest, darkest things we need to work on, like being with somebody that is not accepting of those things in me. Like, oh, this too much.
Right.
Or instead of them just saying this too much, like them starting to move crazy. And then that triggering something in me in terms of like that feeling of, am I tripping? Is it like, I want to know, like I'm with somebody, like we gonna figure this thing out.
What's your intention?
We gonna work through it. Yep.
I don't need you running to social media. I don't need you running to this one or that one. Like, let's talk about it. And don't get me wrong, just like you and I talk, I know that guys, they have their boys they can talk to, but I am praying that the man that I'm with have friends, have guy friends.
That send him on back home.
Right, and iron sharpens iron. Like, dude, you know you got a good woman at home.
Yep.
Don't go out here messing up, the grass ain't green on the other side. Like,
because that's what we do. We would do for one another.
They hold each other accountable. That's
and I think that goes into my fear too. I haven't seen those friend groups where like men really hold one another accountable. Like saying, nah, I'm not gonna, like, even if you about to move crazy, like I'm not gonna be a part of it.
Don't put me in it. Like, I'm not going.
Like, you know, I tell y'all all the time, like, don't call me to be no what the thing called? Alibi.
Yeah.
Alibi, because I'ma say, Tiff, call me when y'all done figure this out. I'm not lying for nobody.
Right.
And you know, like y'all, the closest thing to me, but I'm not gonna be a part of it.
Like my character is everything.
Yeah.
So, you know,
And I know as a friend, like that goes back to setting boundaries. You wouldn't put me in a position to do that because you know how uncomfortable that would make me.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if it's some true stuff, like if I was, you know what I mean? Like if it came out of that, I would like to, what was that? But I mean, people can see that as a lie. But like we say, intention is everything.
And perception.
So, but I wouldn't call you if I know I'm lying and be like, Lord, I hope she knows the lie. I can't.
Yeah, I don't even want that anymore. Like that ain't even in my lifestyle. I just want to. I want something authentic. I want something genuine. I want something intimate. Like and I truly get it now when you say I don't want another woman to have one up on me. I don't. Like I do not. If you're unhappy, just leave. I respect you.
Yep. The worst thing you can do, I mean, not like I'm mad her in that sense, but when I lose respect for you, like, is no, and I don't, well, yeah. Like, I might be hurt because whatever, but I would still have respect for you.
Right. Like, we
and that's everything. Like, you can always not come back in the physical sense, but we can always be on speaking terms when I got respect for you. But once I lose respect, and it's been literally like 2 people in this world that I have completely lost respect for, and I'll never talk to them another day in my life. Because I can't trust you. Like, you liable to do anything.
Anything. Like, yeah, so. Nah. And that's why I am with me. Like, if I see a red flag, we discuss it, and that red flag comes back up, then, and I learned this from a person that I consider to be a mother to me. It is nothing that's going to keep me there. And I don't care what it is, whether it's money,
kids,
anything, is not going to keep me there. You know,
because you can't rest when you're not. You know, that's why I say, like, I cannot deal with somebody that's cheating on their spouse. If you gonna cheat on the person, and we've all, like, I've never cheated, like, but everybody's situation is different in terms of, like, we've grown through things. We've all done things we're not proud of. But at this point in my life, I cannot deal with somebody that goes home every night, lays down to the person that's supposed to be the closest, and they're, like, not living right in that sense. I'm not judging you.
Right.
I just know you're not somebody I can trust. You're not somebody that I can consider. Because if you can do that to the closest thing to you, the hell, you would do anything to me.
But is that the closest thing to him? Or is that a filler?
Oh, my God. But at that point, you still lying about it. Or you still, it's supposed to be the closest thing to you, other than God.
I think that's us being selfish.
What you mean? The type of relationship I want to be my person's best. I don't mean best friend, like they gonna take you. Like, I mean, like, we solid. Like, it ain't nothing. Even if you mess up, that does not change the fact that we can't be together. But again, I would not lose respect for you because you came to me with it.
Think about what people are taught, what they're seeing.
What?
Sometimes people stay in relationships. Look at how I teach my child. Like, I want him to know, be able to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rely on a woman to do. Don't stay with a woman or be with a woman just because she's doing something for you. Genuinely love her. Like, there are some people out here that's really with somebody because it's something that they cannot do. Cook, clean, all that stuff. Like, basically, they depend on them for that. You get what I'm saying?
But are those people we even, and again, not judging nobody's situation, but I don't even feel like that's people we have in our circle anyway. Well, I can say that's not people that we're close, that we consider like, I know people like that, but the closest people to me, I wouldn't know. I hope that's the community we're building. Let me at least say that. Like, I really pray, ain't no daggone hope, and I believe that we are, because we try to live honorable lives. I mean, even when we F up, we have gotten to the point where we can say that now.
Right.
It's no, like, I'm going to tell you what it is. You might not like it, but this is what it is. I hope that we are creating the space.
And a safe space, non-judgmental space.
For partners that have those same morals and values. Right. Because I always say, never put me in a position where another woman, another man's best weapon against me is something about you that you should have came and told me. Like, if all this person got to say is, well, did you know, da-da-da, and I'm thrown off, we out to fight as a team. Yeah. Because now I'm taken aback by somebody told me that should have been something that you told me. But if I already know what's up, all right, cool.
Right.
But da-da-da-da-da.
I know how to handle
like, I can
situation.
Still have your back. Right, but if somebody can completely disarm me about some stuff that I ain't have no idea about, like, that's a problem.
It goes back to, I don't ever want anybody to have one up on me.
Yep. And I've had guys, I'm saying guys, but, well, you know, of recent, like, I don't care how, like, where things are with us. If it's some stuff, like, I need to holler at you about, that's a call I gotta make. Because I'm still loyal to you in that way. Like,
right.
Like, when it comes to your safety, when it comes to, I don't let you, like, people still moving crazy. Like, that's just a call I gotta make. So that's, like, the situation that I hope that I'm in.
And, you know, with being that you say that, I even carry that over to my business life. You know, like, I'll be, you know, the people that's close to me in the field, like, you know, watch what you say.
Yep.
Watch how you move.
Yep.
Looking out for you now.
Yep.
And don't say you ain't get that warning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I pray. Because we are being challenged or tasked with, like, being more, or being held accountable in a different way in our growth, I hope that's because whoever our person is, they are also being challenged in that area. So we're going to be in that sweet spot.
That's why I never say never.
Okay.
All right.
That's fair.
Fair.
Uncomfortable, but fair.
Very much so.
For you too?
Mm-hmm. Your face got pale just now, like you need a little
dust. Cause I got scared for us all of a sudden. Cause what kind of, like, what are the odds? Like, I can't explain it. Like, we always talk about how, why am I about to cry? And why we announce we about to cry every time, it's a space of vulnerability and we don't like it. But I really feel like we always had a conversation about how we feel like God is going to use us to set examples.
And He is. It don't feel good. And everybody don't get here. Because people can't. I realize some people can't sit in silence. Mm-hmm. And I used to couldn't, and now I enjoy it. If you just sit in silence with yourself,
that'd be crazy.
It's okay.
I know that.
Like, I know what helped me. Child, I look like one of them little plucked chickens running around the yard. But no, like, talking to myself, journaling, reading, and it's for me. At one point in time, like, I used to be, what's even with the word to say? I used to be enthused, or it used to impress me how fast Mary used to could read, how fast you can read, how fast Rosina can read. And it's like, you know what? Rosa, what chapter you on? I'm still on the first chapter.
You gathering what you need to get out of it.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's not a competition. Nothing is a competition no more. I get it. Like, no woman, no person is a competition. Me.
Because if you think about it, you are reading to get something out of it. So why try to be the fastest? Why be just for bragging rights to say, oh, I'm done.
Right.
And get nothing from it. Well, that's a waste of your time.
I will go back. And it's words I'm even willing to admit. Like,
I'll be looking them up quick and write it in my journal.
Google, how do you pronounce such and such and such and such and such? I'm not ashamed. I'm not, like, when I tell you.
And that feels good. We was in our meeting the other day. And we were talking, and the owner used the word. I said, "Hold on, what that word mean?" Y'all no, because how do I learn?
Right, and everybody feel because you're at a certain age or at a certain point in your life,
I said, "Quick,
that
excuse me,
you can't learn."
You talking about property? Something to do with properties? What that mean?
Help me out,
right?
Because when I get mad, I'm gonna need it.
Yep.
Well, we say make yourself resourceful. Make yourself a resource.
Yep. Ain't no ask quick. Why?
I know I'm asked.
Why let the opportunity pass and learn something new? Because you too worried about acting like you already know it.
Or looking stupid or looking dumb. To me, there's no such thing as a dumb question. And I tell my families that when I meet with them, I really want them to feel like they're in the living room with me, in their living room. I don't care, non-judgmental, whatever you ask me. You can ask me what color the carpet is, and I promise you, I'm not going to judge you because perception is everything.
Like that, do you remember that, you might have been off of social media back then, but it was a dress. And some people said it was white and gold, other people said it was blue and black.
I remember, I don't remember the color, but I do remember what you're talking about. You know, and it's just like, you cannot beat somebody up for what they don't know. And don't assume that they know. Because
you only know because somebody told you. Or you experienced something that gave you greater, like, understanding.
Just like I had to tell my...
And we learned something new today, talking to Deshaun.
Right. The friends with benefits. And people think, oh, but... Like I learned, some people do eat soup with a fork. You know, remember I was telling you the scenario that my grandmother was upset because the person gave a fork with her soup. But that's because they're used to eating the...
meat part. Like
the meat, the chunky part out of it, and not the soup, where the fat is. However, she's used to, my grandmother's used to eating with a spoon. You cannot judge a person for something that you don't do. And it's only crazy because you don't do it. Think about it. We only call people crazy or say that something is crazy because we haven't done it. Because don't ever say what you're not going to do.
Don't I know it?
Huh.
Man, that'd be the thing God said, all right, you next in line for this lesson. Exactly. Next up. Chantrice Sherelle.
And that's why, and it's a true statement. A person can't be relatable to you if they've never experienced it. So let me get all I can get. Let me be that sponge and soak it up and be that resource.
So that means we're going to be open to dating. We got to be. Get the eyebrow drop.
What's today?
What?
It's today's date. I'm going to start being intentional about dating. I'm going to learn how to
do that.
It sounds good.
There's some other that add to my schedule, Jesus.
Yes, that's another thing, my schedule.
We make time for what's important.
We do. But you know, football getting ready to come back up. But we still make time for what's important. So, I'm excited. I'm excited for my journey, what's coming up.
Well, we got to do new things, too. We talk about going to football games and stuff. Going where we would want to go. Like, we want to meet somebody somewhere where we are already doing something we enjoy. Because that may suggest that they're doing something they enjoy, too. That's already one thing I got in common.
Try new things. Check that bucket list. I got some checks on it. So, again.
It's been a good conversation.
It has. It's going to cause me to go get in my bathtub with some Epsom salt.
You know what time it is?
Uh-huh.
Girl.
It's okay. I'm going to sit in that Epsom salt and that calm and serenity. Dr. Teal, I already took a shower.
You just wanna. I ain't been to the house.
I'm a detox.
Coming to all kind of stuff after this. Good God.
I need it.
Emotional detox.
Yes, I do.
I feel like I want to journal, but I don't know what to say.
You gonna be a Leah. You just said Leah.
I ain't got it in me tonight.
And it's okay.
This is my journal.
And we have to stop beating ourselves up when we don't do the things. Because we are busy women. When we don't do the like journal or reading, we have to stop beating ourselves when we don't do it every day. As I do, I feel bad. Even some things with my business. When I don't get it done, I be like, oh, but nope. Everything happens for a reason.
And we learning how to delegate. That's been my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like saying, you know what, this is what you're good at. Let me pay you to do this. Holler at me when it's done. That's been my biggest thing.
You're helping me with that. I still, some things I'm working on with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that I'm OCD when it comes to something.
And that's why I had to start, because I had to go back to the drawing board, because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And it happens for a reason.
It does. So, where do you guys fit the hyphen?
2 hours later. We're going to split it up. 2 separate. Look at God. As busy as we've been, we got 2 episodes done.
He will do it. So where do you guys fit the hyphen? Tonight's conversation in your hyphen.
See y'all next episode.